Hi there. I'm Lee Whittier, founder, host, dog show mentor. Happy to be here today. You know the drill. Post in the chat your name, where you're from, and I'd love to hear your breed because I always want to know where you're coming from. And if you've had multiple breeds, I'd love to hear that too. All right. So today we're going to talk about NOHS groups and group conflicts. So what is that? How has that been for you? And where are you going with that? Are you still in NOHS? So we're going to be talking about the whole NOHS system and how it's working for you as an exhibitor. And I'm hoping there'll be some AKC employees who are in decision-making availability, right? They're able to make decisions at AKC. Maybe some important people are listening here, and they want to hear from you too. So if you've got some really powerful comments about, wow, I really love this, I'm really happy about that, we're going to talk about that today. And you can gripe a little bit, but not too much, because we're not really like that at Dog Show Mentor. But if you have some constructive ideas about how to make things better, now that's the kind of thing we do at Dog Show Mentor. Hey, Kelly Edwards, nice to see you. Irish Terriers in Maryland. You've had some great press in Showsite Magazine. You did an article there that was really powerful. I like that. Maggie, Otter Hounds from Chicago. Wonderful. You just had your national. I hope that was fun. And Jeannie from Iowa with Irish Wolfhounds. I'm not sure when your national is. Michael says, hey, Kelly, those terrier people stick together. And Julie, hi, you made it on time this week. Welcome, Julie. Giant Schnauzers from Arizona, if I am correct. And Annie, Pomeranians in Maryland. So we have a couple people from Maryland here. And Brian Pollock, Mini Schnauzers, New York. Yeah, and Shannon, New Jersey, Bulldogs. Maggie, it was a great weekend. Ooh, well, feel free to brag. We like bragging and reflections at Dog Show Mentor. So we've got a couple things that I'm going to start the conversation with is, did you know that with 80% of exhibitors showing their own dogs, according to the American Kennel Club, that, according to superintendents, only 35% of those owner handlers check the NOHS box. 35%. And so what I'm wondering, and I got really curious about that, what I'm wondering is, why aren't more people checking the box? So if you're checking the box, we want to know why it's important to you. And if you're not checking the box, tell us why that. So Denise says, good afternoon. We had a great weekend in Indiana this past weekend. Was anyone in this group there? So maybe somebody has something to say to Denise. So feel free to chat with each other. We'll keep that ball rolling. But I'm very curious about this 35% of owner handlers checking the box. So is everybody here checking the box? Maggie, are you checking the box? Jeannie? I've asked some of my friends who do not. They just do not want to do possibly two groups. Okay. Well, if it were group and best in show, would they just say, well, I don't want to do best in show because it's too hard? That's what I wonder. You could ask them that, Jeannie. Okay. Julie says she always checks the box. Good for you. Jeannie says, I check it every time. That's great. Gives us more time in the ring and experience showing. That's exactly right. And particularly for young dogs. Other people check the box as a competitive, they're compelled competitively. But if you're not, at least get that young dog in there and used to having other dogs in the group around him or her, right? Different breeds. In my breed, we might have a bulldog breathing heavily behind them. They might have another dog barking that likes to bark in the ring. Denise says, I always check the box. You know what? I get so excited as a judge when my exhibitors, when I say, are there any NOHS exhibitors here? And they go, me. This like doesn't work for me. It's like, are you proud of it? Are you enthusiastic about it? Or are you just like sheepish and like, yeah, I'm not our handler? No, be proud of that. Okay. Cindy says with Spanish water dogs, I always check the box. I'm glad to hear that. And Annie says she does too with the and with the Bred-Bys, especially with Bred-Bys. So, Annie, are you saying you check the NOHS box with your Bred-By Exhibitor dog if it got NOHS best of breed, or are you saying you check the box for Bred-By group, which is a different group? Of course, you know that, but different group. Some of the people might not. Okay. Who else? Nancy Roy says, always. That's wonderful. And Shannon says, I always check it, but recently I've actually thought if it could do more harm than good. If the judge thinks you're a professional, then realizes you're not one. Why do you think we can? You know, I hear this a lot, Shannon. I hear this a lot. I didn't used to ever hear it, but now I hear it a lot. The rumor got started that judges look and see who's checked the box so they don't give them the breed. We're judging dogs. We don't care about people. Julie says some people don't check it because they don't go to Florida for championship. Really? Okay. I didn't know that. Maggie says, I do. More experience for us. Go, Maggie. And Kelly says, I always check the box, and NOHS gives my young dogs more ring experience. Right on. And Denise says, I got winner's dog and winner's bitch points this weekend from the Bred-By class and went to owner or handled groups both days with each dog. So that's one day with one dog and one day with the other. And they both got experience. Yes, more ring experience. So a lot of you are checking the box for ring experience. And some of you are checking it because you go to Florida. I haven't seen anyone who says they're looking for that. And how about the bronze, silver, platinum, gold, platinum? I mean, does anybody care about having NOHS ranked dogs? I mean, has that made any difference to you? I guess is one of the things that came to mind when I thought about what we're going to talk about today was, so who thinks that made a difference when they started getting the different levels? Okay. Let me look up here. Ranks are icing on the cake, according to Kelly. That's cool. I like icing. Buttercream, whipped cream, icing. Cindy says, oh, we got NOHS certificate this week, one of my annual goals. Awesome, Cindy. Congratulations. And Denise says, yes, I care, but I am just getting out there again with my dogs. That makes sense. Yeah. So get going, because guess what? We've got a new year now, right? It just ended and we've got a new year. Except yesterday just ended. So how many of you, Sandy says, I wear those pins with pride, as you should, as you should. I think everyone who competes in NOHS deserves a lot of respect. So no one has said why they're not checking the box. So I'm assuming that everybody on this call checks the box. And so where are those other 45%? 55, yeah. Where are they? And why aren't they on this live stream? Because we want you. If you're an owner handler, we want you to come here and talk with us, and we want to hear what you have to say. Michael says, I love seeing people wearing their pins with pride. I know. I know. I wish I were out there enough to get that. So did that. So no one has really said the creation of lifetime points made a big difference in how you entered your dog. So nobody started entering like more like, oh, you're only, you just got your bronze. I want to get my silver, or I'm already to gold. I want to get to platinum. Did anybody who's competitive like that? Guy says, I used to not when it first started because I thought AKC was placating owner handlers. Well, that could be. I mean, but that doesn't mean that you can't be competitive, right? So me, me what? Me what? Me what, Sandy? I think that I can't say what AKC thought. I don't know. I don't work for AKC. I'm not in that lane anymore. But I do think that AKC was smart enough to recognize that 80% of their market was owner handlers, and why not do something that makes them enjoy it more, be there more. And let's see. Michael says, I also see many ads of people and their NOHS ranking with dogs. Yeah, that's right. I don't really read the magazines, but when people in Dog Show Mentors show me their ads, they always, why would you not advertise that your dog was a big winner? Right? Okay. Who else? Cindy says, we have 50 more points to our new level. Good for you. Oh, yeah, Sandy, you are. You're that competitive. Yeah, good. I'm glad everybody's enjoying it. Jeannie, I've competed in owner handled since its inception. I love it. And I have 23 owner handled group ones, 3 bests in show, and 2 RBIS. I love it. Well, I love it that you love it. And not only that, I love it that you are so successful, Jeannie. And I am excited for you. And if I knew you, I'd be proud of you as a friend and peer. So awesome job. So I want to remind everybody that NOHS is National Owner Handled with an ED series. Even some people who know better forget sometimes that it's not ER, it's ED. Michael says, you're playing to Jeannie. Sometimes I wish I could play. Yeah. Well, we all make choices, Michael. We all make choices. So what we started to talk about today, and if you have friends who you think would enjoy this conversation, tag them right now and get them to come over and visit us for the last 15 minutes that we have, right? And speaking of friends, if you know somebody who is in Dog Show Mentor, who's a member, an official member of the program, they can get you into next week's webinar, the workshop for people who aren't members for half price. So if you know a member, call them up, text them, message them, and say, hey, what's the coupon code? I want to get in for half price. Okay. So has anyone had NOHS group conflicts at a show lately? Who has had any group conflicts at shows lately? So I'm not seeing a lot of activity here, but Shannon, she says, yes, you have. So Cindy has, yes. So if you could tell me what the conflict was. Kelly says Bred-By and NOHS. Okay, good. All right. So you AKC people who are watching this, notice a few times. Shannon says a few times. So we got 3 people. Nancy's not lately, but a few years ago, right? Yeah, AKC has put in some new guidelines for the superintendents and the show committees to help keep the groups moving along. So Shannon says groups run longer than affects NOHS group. Oh, then affects NOHS. It's true. Everybody stays longer because there are fewer conflicts. So if they run first the working group, then the NOHS working group, and then the sporting group, and then the NOHS sporting group, by the end of the day, we're going slower, right? That's just the way it is. There are advantages and disadvantages to every system. And he says, no, I never have experienced a conflict. Cindy says variety group was not finished and they were trying to start owner-handled group. AKC came to the ringside to resolve it. I bet they did. Okay, Denise says this past weekend they did a great job, held regular groups followed by NOHS. It worked out great. Okay, Christine. Hey, Christine, nice to see you. Back-to-back groups can be hard on smaller dogs. Hate running from one ring to the other. It can be. It absolutely can be. That's when, but the smaller dogs, you carry them. There you go. And, I was recently guided by a rep to, make sure that if you saw somebody running to the ring, give them the high sign to slow down, that, there's not going to be, nobody's going to be left out. And we're going to try not to start without you. So just so you know, we try very hard to not start a group unless everyone's there. Sometimes we do, and we feel bad about it later, but you can always ask the steward to come in late. And no judge is going to feel badly about that. And they're going to ask you to come in and go around. All right, let's see what else everybody says. Hey, Mike, how are you? The shows that try to do NOHS 30 to 45 minutes before the regular groups tend to have more issues, especially if the use of different order for the groups. Oh, yeah, that's a nightmare. Are they still doing that? So, yeah, well, bulldogs, yeah. I mean, you'd have to roll them. Oh, right. Replying to Christine, 100% this. So yeah, well, you either roll them in your cart or you carry them. Absolutely. And those group rings are big, but as we know, the smaller dogs cut the ring. So yeah, but I get it. I get it. Some of the smaller breeds, that's right. So Sandy says that she's seen groups trying to start early. I think that, what I've experienced as a judge is that my exhibitors will, if they're in both groups, and if I'm doing the regular group and I go for pictures, they might, sort of shout at me, hey, I'm going to owner-handled group. Can I get a picture later? Sure, I'll be here. I'm here for the whole day. Absolutely. Bulldogs, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Michael, could also be hard to get a solid performance out of a dog 2 times in a row. I've had friends complain. So, Michael, again, what about the regular group and best in show? Aren't you going to, what I teach at Dog Show Mentor is, well, you have to work your dog up to give him some stamina, right? Stamina. And that is partly learned. I mean, some dogs have more natural stamina, but it's partly learned. That they know that they're going to have they're going to be performing and they are able. It's the same thing with any sport, with any animal or person. You're going to develop stamina as well. I developed stamina as a judge. I was off for the month of August. And so coming back in September, I have to build up my stamina again. So it's the same thing. So Kelly says, for the young dogs, it can be a challenge to go back to back. Absolutely. And, there's no shame in saying, okay, today my dog, it's the fourth day, my dog is tired, I'm going home. There's no shame in that, as long as it's not an excuse for something that you don't feel like doing. Megan, hey Megan, nice to see you. I wish NOHS Best in Show were in the same ring as regular Best in Show and held just before regular Best in Show so everyone can see both. Sometimes it is. And I think that some of that depends on the timing of the groups, because sometimes the last group is just starting and regular Best in Show is starting. And if you, that can be, it's tricky. And I know that it feels like sometimes people don't stay for that. And that's why you have a dog show mentor buddy. And a dog show mentor buddy will stay and clap for you. That's a real friend. That's a real friend. Okay. But I know it's usually because of the timing. And if there's a wait, if there's a long wait, you can't stop Best in Show from going on. Clubs won't do it. We've won owner handled group, then hop over to the group, then back to owner handled to receive owner handled reserve best, agree with stamina and conditioning the dogs. Wonderful, Shannon. Good. I'm glad. And Cindy says, with my young dog, I focus on owner handled group. He's too green to do both right now. Yeah. I mean, you can do that. You can skip the regular group and go to owner handled, although it's usually the other way, but you can do that. April says, if I know my breed is in group, I will stay to support them. And you're Shih Tzu, April? Is that what you are? Yeah, looks that way. All right. Okay. So reminders of things that we have going on at Dog Show Mentor. September, we have a Blue Ribbon Blueprint next week on Wednesday, the 28th. Also, next week, the 28th, we have Bruce Schwartz from Montgomery County Kennel Club coming to talk here and share with you as my guest what goes on there and why, what's special about Montgomery County. April says yes. And then don't forget to subscribe. If you don't know what's going on at Dog Show Mentor, subscribe to our news. We have a monthly news and then we have a weekly news that will tell you everything that's going on. Shannon says, yesterday we went owner handled reserve Best in Show. I told my husband to skip owner handled and just do the regular group. Thankfully, he didn't listen to me. See, if you don't play, you can't win. Michael says, whether you're a terrier person or not, you need to hear Bruce Schwartz. Absolutely. Thank you. It is. And Kelly, I'm going to see you there in just 2 weeks. And so don't forget to sign up for our news. We've got Dog Show Mentor next Wednesday. So this is Thursday. This is the first time ever that we've put this on a Thursday. We had a little conflict behind the scenes, and so we ran with it on the Thursday. I hope all of you had fun being here. I'm sorry that we're missing some of our regulars. So September, Blue Ribbon Blueprint for you. The link is in the chat. Don't forget about our mastery program application. We are so excited about our year-long mastery program for owner handlers. Kay, hi Kay. Will be fun to hear about MCKC. Will be showing my first time, been several times. Okay, good. and join the Jumpstart program. Jumpstart is awesome, and everybody needs to do it. Everybody. So I'm really excited about all the people who are joining the Jumpstart. You'll be ready for Orlando. Okay. Who's going to Orlando, by the way? Who's going? I'm going. I'll be there. You can meet me there. I'm not judging. I'm doing seminars. I'm doing the hound seminars, and I'm playing with my dog show mentor friends. Maggie says, I am good. I hope to see you there. Don't forget about book your secret weapon session with me at Orlando. Megan's going unless Nia is pregnant. Oh my goodness. Puppies everywhere. I'm so excited. Michael's going with at least a few dogs. Good for you. So there are lots of people going. We're out of time. Thank you so much for being here at Dog Show Mentors Facebook Live. See you next week with Bruce Schwartz from Montgomery County Kennel Club as my guest.